Welcome to another episode of the Transformers Breakdown. This is episode 27 in Season 2, The Golden Lagoon. In this particular episode, the Decepticons find a golden lagoon filled with Electrum. They bathe themselves in Electrum. They become invincible. Then they start pummeling the Autobots, and then the Autobots find out about the golden lagoon, and then they also dip themselves into it, and then they fight back, and then the Decepticons start fading their little golden shimmer thingy, and so the Autobots win. So let's get started. This particular episode features Blitzwing. He is one of the triple changers. He changes into a robot, into a tank, and into a jet. So yay for Blitzwing. And what is this, Disney? Do you see the Disney shots in here? Like there's a point where Beachcomber has all these animals and they're like flying, and Beachcomber can talk to animals, I guess. That's kind of cool. Beachcomber is also featured in this one. He is basically the hippie of the Autobots, and he can talk to animals, and then all the animals gather around him. So that's kind of cool. And so I'm thinking, there's a point where you're thinking to yourself, is he Snow White? So that's kind of interesting. Then the Electrum, they find the Electrum, and then Warpath is in there. And I've also commented before that Warpath is Bill Cosby. You know, you know, I think there's like they're trying to do a Bill Cosby imitation. I'm not quite sure. And the gold, painting all the robots gold has to be super easy for the animators. And I'm thinking to myself that there are so many glitches and so many mistakes in this entire series that at a certain point in time the producer says, you know what? While you guys are being scolded for all your glitches, we're just going to go ahead and paint everybody gold in this episode, okay? Till you guys get it right. So maybe in the next episode they'll get the coloring right. And then there's a point where, so they dive into the Golden Lagoon, and Thrust dive into the Golden Lagoon, and he goes to Megatron and he goes, hey Megatron, look, I'm golden and invincible. And Starscream goes, I need proof. And I'm like, he's standing right there and he's covered in gold. So isn't that proof enough? So then you hear that the ice, the shimmery sound, which ice makes the same sound as gold shimmering. So okay. And why does Starscream have to hold his nose in order to dive into the pool? I thought he was a robot. He's like, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, do you need oxygen? I'm confused. And then this shot is way too funny. They're like shooting at each other. They're like just drunk and shooting at each other in order to make sure that, you know, nothing hurts them, I guess. And then the whole thing is like a PETA commercial. Poor animals, because as they're shooting each other, they're totally destroying the entire Golden Lagoon and whatnot. And then look, it's Reflector. Poor Reflector. He just kind of gets pushed out to the side eventually. And Beachcomber realizes that they found the Golden Lagoon, but not the Blue Lagoon, which is starring that lady from Hello Shushan. I forget what, you know what I'm talking about. The guy who starred in. You'll get it. But the Blue Lagoon, you know, where the kids are doing the thing and the baby and the what. And Blitzwing has a tractor beam. So, okay, that's kind of cool. Megatron was fast getting back. So there's a shot where Megatron, Soundwave tells him, hey, you know, he's having them fight. And Megatron's like, bam! He's like, I'm here. So then they're fighting Omega Supreme, and Omega Supreme creates like an earthquake, and the jets fall into the crater. And I'm thinking to myself, aren't they jets? And can't you fly? So don't earthquakes not affect you? So I'm confused. Poor Omega Supreme, he gets shot up. And what is Electrum? I'm going to look it up, and I'm going to tell you. Maybe it's some fictional thing, but I will write it down. And I guess it's made out of silver and gold. And why take up your gun in order to shoot the bad guys? Like there's a moment where they're in jail, and then and then one of the, I think Starscream takes out his gun in order to shoot him, and it's like, can't you just go like that, like you have been for the entire season? Well, they did that because they wanted for later, you know. And where did Perceptor, Beachcomber, and Sea Spray get 3 guns? They got 2 guns at the most. I think they were carrying just 1, but at the most 2 guns. But where did they get the 3 guns? And then, oh, okay, so then the Autobots discover it, and then they dive into the gold thing, and then they're all gold as well. And while you're looking at the thing, you're thinking to yourself, just because you're allowed to color them completely gold does not excuse for poor drawing. Because you see some of these, I'm like, who are these people? I think that's supposed to be Bumblebee, and I think that's supposed to be Mirage, but I'm confused. And you know what is getting destroyed? Nature. Nature is getting destroyed. So this is all about greed, because it includes about gold and digging for gold and greed. And I think this is the message behind this whole episode, was about greed. You'll notice that even the Autobots are not necessarily like concerned about nature. They're not 100% good. And that's what I like about this cartoon, is that they're you know, not your full actualized hero, I think. And then the color faded, so then the Autobots start winning, and then at the end, the Beachcomber goes, we won, as he's sitting there, all sad, but the happy music is playing. So they could have put like that little violin. They could have played that violin music that they usually play when things are sad, but they didn't. You know, like when Skyfire died. And there's no freedom in this episode because Skyfire is not in it. So remember, as long as there's freedom, there's Skyfire. So that's a throwback to one of the previous episodes. Alright, what did you think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? And if you like these episodes, you can subscribe. You can add me on Twitter. I'll put all the information